And we are recording. Unfortunately, Ryan had a little, well, his father had an accident, so he won't be able to join us today. But the difficulty has been adjusted to this scenario, to this situation. Thank you to everyone at home that is watching this final part of the Super Smash Bros. Campaign. We are joined once again by Alberto and Tyler. They're going to be participating as Tanu and Johnny. Tyler, what are your expectations for this session?
Well, I'm definitely hoping to have some moments where I get to use out the last thing I acquired to get some incendiary grenades, hope to chuck those at some zombies or vampires or what have you, maybe eat some floor chicken.
Yes, it's definitely going to be a creepy experience, I think. Now, Alberto, what are your expectations?
Well, my expectations is that I wanted to be as well prepared as possible for a number of circumstances that can come our way. So I decided to kind of broaden my kit a little bit. There's some things that definitely allow me to recover from any sort of perilous situation, but there are also things that I decided to grab hold of as well that could really be beneficial for the team in particular circumstances. So I'm pretty excited and not really sure what to expect, but that's part of the adventure, isn't it?
Yes, that's great. Okay, and so it begins. Previously, Johnny and Tanu were being led by Mega Proton Man to the next Avocado Kingdom outpost. They used their bits to purchase equipment, and now they are once again placed on the Avocado Cannon. They are going to be shot into the sky to see if they can catch up to the evil Dr. Gnarly. They must do everything that they can in order to stop Gnarly from joining with Count Bloody Bad. They are trying to open a portal into the real world. And so they go off into the air. They are flying, and before they are about to reach this next level, Fortressvania, they suddenly fall upon this web, this huge web. It seems to be of a metal substance, but that's not all. The environment around them is completely dark with a few trashy graphics. It seems to be a glitch area. You can see fragments of enemies, of pieces of structures of different levels, numbers. The code is all messed up. And in the spider web, you can see a huge mecha spider. And within this mecha spider that has boxing gloves, you can hear the voice of the evil Dr. Gnarly. Haha, totally tubular! You are now in my trap, and this time my cockpit is reinforced with metal plates.
We've got a few tricks up our sleeve now, too. Start firing at him to distract him. Tanu, go try something. I'll keep him at bay.
Roll bash.
A 5.
That's a success. Dr. Gnarly starts to back away, trying to shield himself from the spray of your weapon.
I decide that with to try to focus my chi as a martial artist to sort of try to bend some of these metallic webs, not necessarily around us, but towards us, and try to ensnare the very enemies that tried to lay this trap for us in the first place.
Roll bash.
6.
That's a success. But the moment you start to pull the web, Dr. Gnarly goes into a panic and he says, No, you fool, what are you doing? And the entire spider web comes crashing down. You're all falling. Dr. Gnarly is just spouting gibberish. He seems to be in a huge panic. It seems that he wasn't prepared for the situation. As soon as Dr. Gnarly falls, the entire mech explodes. But you are safe because your avocado talisman that didn't activate because of the glitch zone now activates and creates this bed of avocado pulp as usual. You now find yourselves in a graveyard.
Geez, this place is a little spooky, huh? I mean, tombstones everywhere,
Yeah.
buried bodies.
Not have a reminder of last level too much for me.
I decided to look around and try to get a scope as to if there's anything worth noting of interest.
Roll wise.
1.
You don't spot anything. It's a failure.
I'm not seeing much.
Yeah, me neither. I'll look to see if there's a clear path ahead despite the glitchiness. If there's maybe some remnant of what was supposed to be here.
Roll wise.
Oh, 6. Lucky.
It's a success. As you look around, you notice that it is truly somewhat of a labyrinth of graves, tombs, crosses. But at the very top of what seems to be a mausoleum, there are 2 candles floating in the air. 2 joined candles.
I don't think this is from either of our games, Tanu. I'm going to do what I do best. Take a couple shots at it.
It's an automatic success. The candles disappear and something else is left in their place. A medallion falls down, but it blinks and it disappears.
All right. Looks like we'll have to be standing directly under them next time. I don't like that we can't see any enemies here. This is a little suspicious. Let's try to, I don't know, maybe hug the left side, move around here, see if we can get some semblance of bearing.
I think that sounds like a good idea. It's a good place to start.
Yeah.
As you start to move carefully, you hear this noise of some sort of motor. You hear at least 3 engines.
Well, I doubt that those engines are for us. We should definitely tread lightly in case it's some sort of trap, like the first one that we encountered.
I try to sneak behind a gravestone and peek around the corner to see if I can tell where this engine noise is coming from.
It is actually an automatic success. You can see at least 3 skeletons dressed in boomer clothes. They even have cans of beer, and they are riding these motorized lawn mowers, and they seem to be patrolling the area. There is a way to approach a certain stone archway, but they are patrolling that section. It will surely take great skill to go through that area.
Let's see. Well, what we could probably do is if we I know that me and you were kind of more fighters than master sneaks and thieves. However, what if we were able to take maybe find like a local rock, maybe throw in the opposite direction, and perhaps maybe we can sneak past.
Oh, actually, great idea. Maybe there's something from my game. I'll look to see if there's a cardboard box anywhere around.
It's not exactly cardboard, but it seems to be a box made out of the same material of the tombstones.
All right. I've got an idea. You stay here in case anything goes wrong. I'll try to sneak across, and then we can hit them with a 2-pronged attack.
Sounds good to me.
I'll try to take out the tires of the bikes, and then you can beat them up once they're fallen off, or whatever it is you do.
Sure. I think I can probably shoot an energy blast towards the driver. They won't see it coming.
Yes. All right. Put the box on and start creeping towards the area, stopping whenever they look at me.
The box is super heavy, but it's useful enough. Roll move, Johnny.
6.
You accomplish your action perfectly. You are now at the perfect position.
Throw the box off and take an aimed shot at the tires, spraying as many as I can before they notice.
It is an automatic success, and one of the motorized skeletons explodes.
And before they can react or do anything, I decide to shoot a massive energy blast from my game as a special attack at the driver to further cause mayhem and chaos to the skeletons.
Roll bash.
4.
It is a success. The skeleton explodes in pixels, but one of them is remaining. And he starts to shoot beer cans at both of you with great speed.
Drop prone, try to shoot the beer can out of the air, and yell, "Tanu, you get him."
Sounds good.
Johnny,
I decided to
roll bash.
Another 6.
Perfect.
and I decided to run up and try to deal a sure you can, try to uppercut the skeleton sky into the air to incapacitate him further.
Roll bash.
5.
You accomplish just that. The skeleton flies into the air and explodes in pixels. Their machines are also gone. But then you hear this swooping sound from the air, and you see this huge green gargoyle looking at you, and it has this apron, and it says, "Kill the cook." And it starts to shoot fireballs from its mouth towards both of you. A barrage of fireballs.
Duck into the archway and begin to pull out my RPG.
I decide that perhaps this gargoyle might be a little hungry, and actually packed a nice tasty meat and decide to throw it at the gargoyle to see if it has any reaction to cause it to be distracted, anything of the sort.
Both Johnny and Tanu need to roll move.
5.
3.
Johnny gets hit by one of the fireballs. He is now completely covered in this suit. The character is completely blackened. But this gargoyle definitely found the meat to be quite enticing, and it is now chomping down on the meat, completely oblivious to its surroundings.
All right. That was a close one. Good thinking. You want to just get out of here?
Well, we might have to take care of this this gargoyle. I mean, he just kind of popped up
I've
out of
already got
nowhere.
the RPG out. Line up a shot while it's distracted.
And it blows up with the meat as well.
Well, there goes my my afternoon or evening snack. But hey, sometimes you got to make sacrifices.
I'm sure we'll find something else.
Hopefully.
As you make your way through the archway, you see various barbecue implements, ingredients. You see cans of beer, soda, bread buns, some meat.
There we go.
Tell you what, Johnny, I actually have tender as a quirk, and perhaps do you mind if I make you a special little snack or a brew with all these ingredients to kind of help get that soot off of you and out of your system, and perhaps that'll be beneficial for you.
Yeah, I don't think it messes with the stealth suit, but you know, I'm not completely unvain. You know, got to keep up some appearances here.
As you're preparing this and giving it to Johnny, suddenly you hear steps, and a man dressed in a biker outfit, but decorated with crosses everywhere, wielding this biker chain with several crosses attached at the end, waves at you, and he says, "Boy, am I glad to see you, man. I am Simondo Belmondo. I am here to assist you in the name of Princess Avocado."
Oh, great.
Whew. Well, I thought you were being adversary, but we would welcome all allies.
Yeah, I was having some trouble with those skeleton guys. Those skeleton guys were messing up my act. But now you took care of them, man. That's excellent. I have to tell you something very important. In this place, there are these fountains. They look very different from everything else here. Take a look. And he pulls away the foliage in a section, and there is this fountain of white marble. And he continues, "If you ever die, man, listen, you need to drink from the water of the fountain, man, and you're going to be alive. You're going to resurrect."
All right. I'll take your word for it.
I appreciate that. That goes a long way.
Now I gotta go, man. I need to protect the people of Transylvania. They need my protection, man.
Ah, yeah. Lovely place. Well, lovely people.
I'll have to visit sometime and have a few fights over there myself. But
Oh, yes.
so long, good sir.
That's great, man. Now keep on going through that tunnel over there. But listen to me closely. That is the shortcut. This is the fastest way to reach that evil bastard, Count Bloody Bad. Bloody Bad. But be careful. Do not stray from the path. There is danger if you try to stray. I think it's game over, man. You have to be careful. And he starts to run away.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
I'm a fan of shortcuts.
Straight to the path we go. Why not?
Let's.
As you are moving through the tunnel, you see that a section on your right, on the wall, is quite fragile. It seems almost about to collapse.
I learned my lesson from last time. The RPG's not it. Synchronize.
Johnny, why don't you run across? I'm going to try to hold the wall and make sure nothing collapses or nothing busts in. And if you can get to the other side, I'll try to run in quickly after you. We don't know what could happen.
Ooh, yeah. That's a much safer idea than mine was. I thought there might be something behind it, but yeah, architectural integrity is probably not great given what's going on here. I'll try to run across.
You both accomplish just that, but as soon as Stanu touches the wall, it crumbles forward. Safely, you're safe from the result. But you see that a new tunnel is revealed. Now you have two pathways. You can continue down the tunnel, or you can take this new route.
Choices, choices, choices.
I don't know. Simon told us not to stray from the path.
He did tell us to not stray from the path.
Yeah,
This
who
could be a
knows?
trap or temptation.
Or just a glitch, you know. The programmers kept running out of RAM. They really should have just waited for next gen consoles, but you know how it is.
Yeah, patches definitely don't exist in this time period. So
No.
I would vote to move forward in the original, just down the tunnel.
Let's just keep heading.
As you continue down the tunnel, you see this very bizarre area. At the bottom of the screen, you see a platform filled with spikes, and you see these floating smaller platforms about the size of 5 foot in dimensions each. They seem to be zigzagging, going up and down. And on the background of the screen, there seems to be a huge, yes, it's definitely a huge skull. You also notice that at the very top, there is some sort of balcony.
All right. I've got something for this. I take out my mechanics toolkit and start building a rope ladder I can try to toss up to the balcony.
Roll bash.
I am going to burn a hold because I rolled 2. There we go, 6.
The ladder is now in place. You can perfectly climb up to the balcony.
All right. Let's get at it. Let's go one at a time. That way we're not both using up hands on the ladder.
Sure. Yeah. Good thinking. Better to do this than to risk jumping on all these platforms and falling.
I'll start climbing up the ladder, looking back with my machine pistol every so often.
As you do that, you notice that the skull in the background, the eyes light up so intensely, bright red, and these decapitated heads that have scorpion tails instead of hair start to fly at you. They are a complete swarm. They are coming at you from all directions, at both of you.
Oh, crap. Start blasting at the swarm haphazardly.
Roll bash.
5.
You eliminate several of them, but there are still at least 15 more coming in.
Well, all the more the merrier. I also join Johnny in the blast and shoot some energy blast myself to try to take out the majority or most of the remaining enemies lying ahead.
Roll bash.
4.
It's a success. Plenty more heads are destroyed, and you have an opening to keep on climbing if you wish.
All right. Try to climb up the rest of the way. Get up on that balcony.
All right. I'll wait for you to get to the top before I jump on.
Good idea.
You accomplish just that. You are now at the balcony, and you see that it is an entrance, and it is connected to this huge part of the castle. It seems to be the west wing.
All right. I think this is the way. If you want to come on up.
Sure thing. I'll just climb on up right after you. Hopefully nothing else comes up to interfere.
You also notice that in that balcony, there are 2 floating candles held together.
Oh, nice. Remember, sit right underneath it this time. Shoot straight up.
A holy hand grenade falls on your hands.
Nice.
Good thinking, Johnny.
I
That
don't
could
think
come in
Sigan
handy.
had anything like this.
A text box appears on top of the holy hand grenade, and it says, "Throw it against your enemies for holy retribution."
Can't do. All right. Grab the rope ladder. That way things don't follow us, and it might come in handy. Who knows? Let's get to exploring this castle, I guess. That Count's not going to off himself.
I think, as we recall, we discovered that we're in the west wing. So I wonder what the other wings are, if there's a central point or perhaps a north wing, somewhere that we should be heading off to. I do wonder.
Yeah. It's times like these I wish I had a radar specialist in this game. Well, nothing to it but to get to it.
Down the corridor, you see this bright green light at the very end.
Green. Strange.
Perhaps we should tread lightly. Think it would be a good idea to walk alongside the wall in case of anything decides to just jump out at us. We're not in the center of the hallway or the corridor.
Tap the stealth suit and go, "I'm way ahead of you." Try to make himself as flat as possible against the wall, machine pistol against one side, and just inch closer towards the archway.
The green light does not wait for you.
Nope.
It propels itself forwards, and it strikes both of you with some sort of green lightning. And now you are teleported and find yourselves on top of what seems to be an old pirate ship. And you are surrounded by 6 skeletons playing golf on top of the ship. And you can hear this sound of, it sounds as if someone is taking a shower somewhere.
Golf in a shower.
The skeletons are surprised that you are there. They are, for a moment, they seem to be paralyzed.
Hey, skeletons. Are you evil?
Suddenly, they start to attack you with golf balls. They start to shoot golf balls at you.
All right, it's on then.
I should have remembered. Hit the deck, try to avoid the golf balls and prepare a volley.
Roll move.
5.
It is a success. Because of the fierce barrage of golf balls, you only have time to dive down and out of the way.
I decide to really focus and into my body and try to make my skin as hard as I can to deflect and bounce back these golf balls back to the skeletons that are shooting them at us.
It's an automatic success, and 3 of those golf balls go back to their senders, and they are impacted by the balls. They explode into pixels. 3 skeletons remain. But before you can react, they start to throw their golf clubs at you, both of you.
Abandon the shot and roll side to side on the ground to try to keep avoiding the projectiles.
Roll move.
Another 5.
It's a success. You perfectly avoid those attacks.
And I decide to any golf clubs thrown at me, I just do the classic hold back and block any attacks coming my way to avoid taking any damage or minor damage.
Roll hold.
3. I'm going to burn Wise. 2. Not my luck.
2 of the clubs hit you in the head, and you are now
Oof.
stunned. You are seeing small little birds flying around your head. The skeletons run to get more golf clubs from a compartment.
Don't worry, Tanu. I'll get them. I'll try to blast the ones as they're retreating.
Roll bash.
That's a 5.
You gun all of the remaining skeletons down. They explode into pixels once more. And Tanu is no longer stunned, but you hear this crash as if some sort of wooden structure has been destroyed. And out from somewhere in the ship comes this flying Grim Reaper sort of skeleton. Instead of a tunic, it has some sort of shower curtain. And it is armed with a huge pair of scissors. It splits the scissors into 2 and throws both of them at you. Each part of the scissors, it's going towards each one of you.
Try to shoot one of them out of the air.
Roll bash.
6.
You do just that, and the scissor goes back to the sender and barely manages to catch it, but the other part is going towards Tanu.
And I decide to try to grab the scissors and do a little spin around and throw the blade back at the Grim Reaper.
As you do just that, you notice that it is very tricky. Roll wise.
1.
Oh, no.
The scissor impacts you and kills you.
Oh.
You explode into pixels. Tanu, for the moment, is nowhere to be seen. The strange skeleton now takes off the curtain, the shower curtain, and throws it at Johnny.
Curtain. Try to dodge roll forward as I pull out one of my incendiary grenades.
Roll move.
A 5.
It's a success. Now you have even more time to toss the grenade.
Toss the grenade. Yell, here, dry off.
It impacts the skeleton automatically, and with a cacophonous noise, it explodes into pixels, the scissors as well. And suddenly you find yourself teleported to an area with a fountain that just exactly the same as indicated by Simondo Belmondo, and Tanu respawns just there in ghost form.
Oh, good.
Whew.
No, I didn't question it, but I was getting worried for a second there. I don't know how you're supposed to drink from a fountain if you're dead, but I guess it's just sort of, you play it in your head. The animation team didn't have what am I saying? No team in this game had any budget, but there's always the sequel.
Programming definitely isn't complete, but I suppose that's just how the cookie crumbles around here, so I won't question it. And
Let's try to avoid that. I've got a thing. What is it? An altar? Yeah, I've got an altar to bring you back next time if there's no fountains nearby, but we got lucky this time.
Sounds good. And I believe that we have to drink from the fountain. Is that correct? Otherwise, do we just respawn here? Just want to make sure that we cover all our bases in case we run into trouble.
I don't know. I take a sip from the fountain and see.
Johnny seems fine.
All right, I take my sip as well. It won't hurt.
Yeah, just in
And
case.
now you are back to life. Before you see a corridor that leads somewhat downwards, and it looks much older when compared to the rest of the structures you have seen so far. There are even a few spider webs here and there.
Webbing. Let's see. It might be overkill, but I've got plenty of them. I take out another incendiary grenade and toss it down the hallway to burn up the cobwebs.
As you do just that, They burn quite easily, but you hear some sort of grunt noise. You hear like, ooh, and something quite heavy running away from you.
Well, he's not getting away.
No,
I'm gonna
let's
go
get
run
after
after him,
him.
try to catch him.
Run down the hallway.
You accomplish that quite easily, and now you are in what seems to be a mad scientist's laboratory. There are Tesla coils everywhere, electricity running across the walls and the ceiling at random moments, and there are some tables with bubbling beakers.
Interesting. I'd be careful. Who knows what's in those? I'm going to be, you know what I'm going to be doing. So
I'll be sure to take a step back since we know where this is going.
Roll move, Johnny.
6.
Thanks to your training, it is quite easy to navigate the dangerous area. You even had to avoid this liquid that was bubbling from one of the flasks on the tables. You also managed to avoid some of the lightning that was randomly running around the place. And you see that there is an on and off switch.
All right. Investigate it. Make sure there's no like secret trap that blows me up instantly. You know how these arcade games can be sometimes. Quarter eaters.
Roll wise.
4.
It is a success. You are absolutely certain that this switch is safe to turn off.
All right. Crank the switch.
As you do that, the Tesla coils are inactive, but the liquids are still bubbling. However, for some reason, they start to quiet down. They look pretty stable now.
All right. Should be safer for you to come over at least.
Sounds good. Yeah, you never really know what's in these chemical tubes, anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm not much of a. I appreciate science, but I'm not much of a science major. I'm a man of of the study of the martial arts, and I stay in my lane.
Hey, I can corroborate with that. I let them give me the cool toys to play with, and that's about it.
The moment you do that, you hear once again this heavy noise of footsteps, and you see this Frankenstein type of monster. It is so stereotypical and cliche, but the arms of this creature are octopus tentacles.
All right. Last time asking first and shooting later didn't work out. I'll shoot first and ask questions later.
Roll bash.
6.
As you accomplish that, one of the arms falls off the creature, but it's still coming at you, running at full speed.
I like to do a good old fighting game technique and do a low heavy to sweep this monster and to get him to fall, and just to buy us a couple more seconds to think of what to do next.
Oh, yes.
Roll bash.
4.
It is a success. With a grunt, the creature falls down and the other arm pops off. But here's the worrisome part. Both of the arms start to go towards you as some sort of anaconda or snake. They start to move at each one of you.
All right. You've convinced me. I'm remembering the basics of CQC, and I try to throw a low round kick at this thing as it crawls towards me.
Roll bash.
6.
It's a success. The tentacle explodes, and the other one is still going towards Tanu.
Well, I'm not going to take any chances. I've wrestled with my own share of snakes and crocodiles. I decide to blast this from a distance with a fire energy ball this time and try to burn it for good.
Roll bash.
5.
It's a success, and so it happens. The monster gets up and starts to run away once more.
You're not going to be that easy. Run after him while firing off some scattered shots.
It is an automatic success, and as the monster tries to avoid the attacks, it seems to fall down in a very dark area that you are not able to see from this distance. And there is no sound anymore.
Ooh. Hold up a fist. I don't know where it just went.
Well, it's likely not going to be safe for us to jump down and join it by any stretch of the imagination.
No, don't think so. Let's see. I look around to see if there's a torch or anything I could use to light the area.
There doesn't seem to be anything. However, a Tesla coil seems to be just close enough to it.
Let's see. Look around to see if there's another switch that maybe activates this Tesla coil.
Roll wise.
4.
You notice that there is enough distance between these Tesla coils and the others for you to somewhat easily predict the patterns of the lightning. It is possible for you to turn on the switch and get away just in time to see this dark area.
All right. That sounds like a plan unless you've got something.
Well, I was actually trying to think outside the box here. Is that it's a bit of more of a explosive than what would be fit my taste. But I was thinking, what if we were to take some of these glass beakers, and if we handle them carefully, what if we were able to drop them into these this dark abyss or dark area and see what happens?
I'm no stranger to explosive. Well, how much worse could it make it?
How much worse could it make it?
Let's start with 1, and then if nothing bad happens, let's keep going.
I'm on board.
Grab a beaker off the wall and chuck it down there.
As you do that, you see that the beaker impacts some sort of spinning gear, and the liquid sticks to it, creating a fluorescent effect, illuminating the section. It seems to be an abyss with floating gears and pendulums.
All right. Good idea, Tanu. All right, let's chuck a few more down there, get a good look at what we're looking at, because I don't want to fall into a giant gear and be an industrial accident.
Let's chuck them all down there.
Yeah.
After several small explosions, all of the liquids attached to the different pendulums, the gears, the area is well lit, and you even managed to see a pair of candles near a pendulum, but it will be a risky maneuver to try to get those candles. They are at the very edge.
I don't know. You've already died once.
But I do have an idea here.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm thinking, martial arts isn't just about fighting, but it's also about defense as well. And I'm thinking if I can just strengthen myself and just make myself as hard as possible, that maybe I can perhaps stop this pendulum in its tracks, and that'll give us some time in order to grab this next item that could be very useful to us.
Yeah, you do that. I chuck the rope ladder at it. All right, let's try it. Trying's free.
Your actions are automatically successful. As soon as Johnny takes the candle, it explodes into pixels, and a medallion of Saint Firo falls on your hand, and a text box appears. It says, "Put on the medallion and you will surround your body in flames temporarily."
All right. Hey, I've got fire covered. Here you go.
Sounds good. You can't have too much firepower.
I don't think where we are, especially. All right. Let's see if we can't make our way down.
You can see that if you manage to jump on top of a few gears ahead, you reach some sort of wooden door that is floating in the middle of nowhere. It's floating in the air.
Interesting.
That's going to be a tough one to try to just open and just jump right through.
I wonder if it's just you can't see the platform that's on it. I'll try to drop the rope ladder onto where a ledge might be.
Roll bash.
6.
It does just that. In a very video gamey way, the rope ladder attaches itself to the door.
Nice. All right. That should make it a little easier.
Good
Drop.
thinking, Johnny.
Yeah, let's drop down onto these gears, I suppose.
Roll move, each one of you.
4.
It's a success.
6.
A success as well. You are now in front of the door.
Nice. All right. Crack it open carefully. Gun first.
As you open the door, you see that it opens into the face of a huge clock. And the hands of this clock, they are considerably large. You can step on them. They are 5 feet wide. The smaller one is pointing to the 3, and the larger one to the 12.
So sounds like it's 3 o'clock. I wonder what that means. I hope there's nothing. It's not counting down to some sort of doomsday device or event.
Yeah, I'd rather not wait to find out. I've had my fair share of time puzzles. Let's. I suppose we'll just hang on and hope it supports our weight. Yeah, I'll go first. See what happens. Gingerly step onto the hour hand.
It seems sturdy enough. It feels like some sort of wooden bridge.
Okay, seems good enough. Keep walking across. Look to see what's on the other side of this clock.
Roll wise.
That's 6. Jeez.
You manage to spot a couple of flying wraps. They look like some sort of bandages flying at you.
Oh, contacts. I start shooting in their direction. Hope the bullets illuminate them for Tanu to see.
Thanks to your wise actions, you manage to destroy those things immediately. And you spot that at the very top of the clock, there seems to be this mummy standing on top of it.
Up.
Well, that's definitely not my mummy, that's for sure.
All right. Good plans, but leave the one-liners to me. Aim up and shoot at it.
Roll bash.
5.
Even though the bullets hit, the bandages, the mummy wrappings fall down. It seems it was some sort of decoy. And now the mummy is standing right next to Tanu. The mummy shoots one of its wrappings towards Tanu.
I decide to, these wrappings, they got to be flammable. So I'm going to use my fire pendant and my medallion and, really flame on here and catch all these wraps on fire as well as the mummy. That got to do something.
The bandages and the mummy are immediately incinerated. And after a few seconds, the fire dies.
All right, let's go. Okay.
Johnny manages to spot a platform, but it's just close enough to the clock to be easily accessible. It seems to be a very easy jump in order to get to it, but you definitely need to climb up the larger hand of the clock.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I'll climb, see how difficult it is. Climb up to the top and then jump off.
Roll move.
4.
It is a success. And now you can jump to the platform whenever you want.
Okay.
I'd like to jump after you, Johnny. Instead of climbing, and I'm actually going to try to focus my chi and do do a fighting game super jump and just try to jump up really high and get to the very top.
Roll either move or bash.
Bash it is. 5.
Nice.
Easily accomplished. You are now within the distance of this platform, and from this angle, you see that this platform leads to a staircase, a huge stone staircase that leads upwards. But there is also something quite suspicious. Next to this staircase, in the middle of nowhere, just floating there, there is this section of a wall of the castle, a small section, about 10 feet tall, 5 feet wide, but it seems to be floating in the middle of this abyss. Surely, if you fall into this abyss, perhaps it is certain death.
Well, Simon hasn't led us wrong so far. Well, I'd say we just keep on the straight and narrow, as it were.
I wonder if we can somehow try to shoot a projectile towards this this floating piece of architecture and see if it does anything. You know,
Yeah,
you don't know if it's a trap and it's just gonna make all the stairs just turn into a slide to our deaths. That's the last thing we want.
That's true. We'll just spray some bullets at both.
It is an automatic success. The section of this wall explodes, and you see they seem to be pork chops. They appear with plate and all. They suddenly appear out of the wall for some strange reason, and they are now floating, but they are blinking. They are about to disappear. They are just floating there.
All right. I'm going to run after and try to grab them.
I think I'll join you as well. Grab the more the merrier, right?
As soon as you do that, you notice that there is actually some sort of invisible floor.
Nice.
You can pick them up, and now each one of you has access to each one of these pork chops.
Figured it was something like that. I don't think Simon can fly, and this is his game.
Well, I'm always delighted to have a nice meaty snack. So
Yes,
definitely happy about this one.
Beats eating snakes.
The stone staircase seems to be leading upwards, almost endlessly.
No stranger to endlessly upward passageways either. Well, I guess let's get to walking.
Yeah, hopefully, definitely gonna be on guard if anything does come our way, or if you never really know what's gonna happen here.
Always.
So.
As you continue upwards, finally, after about 30 minutes of going up constantly, you see this huge set of double wooden doors on the side of what seems to be the highest part of the castle.
All right. What do you think, Tanu? Kick in the door, let everything rip?
We might actually have the element of surprise up our sleeve. If that's the case, we might not want to blow it. I wonder if I can just put my head on my ear towards the door and see if I could get an idea as to what's going on the other side.
No, you do that. Oh, be ready to break that element whenever. Pull out the rocket launcher.
Roll-wise,
hold on.
then.
Pull out the hand grenade. I got this.
3.
There is just this very faint sound of someone slurping, like using some sort of straw, slurping some liquid.
Well, sounds like someone's having a drink or on the other side, but can't really tell other than that.
All right. So you throw open the door and fire in the hole.
I say that's all we have. That's the only option we have left.
Pull the pin on the holy hand grenade and wait for you to open the door.
All right, you ready? I'm going to count down to 3. 1, 2, 3.
It all happens so fast. As you open the door, you see this huge hallway, and there is this Obviously, a vampire of sorts sitting in a throne. At the very end, he seems to be drinking blood from a sports bottle, a transparent sports bottle. The design of this creature is quite Halloweeny, dressed in a vampire type of tuxedo, but in the colors of purple and green. His hair is orange, like a pumpkin, but the sides of the hair seem to be bat wings. The skin of this creature is pale blue, and it seems to be caught completely off guard as the holy hand grenade rolls towards his direction and it explodes. As soon as that happens, all of his clothes, except his underwear, a pair of purple boxer shorts with little bats drawn on them, are revealed. However, he has golden boots for some reason, and he seems to be very angry. He points at both of you and pulls you in through some sort of telekinetic force. It is impossible to resist it. Locks the door and says, "What is a developer? A miserable little pile of loot boxes. How about you?" And it starts to shoot fireballs from his armpits. It is obvious that he was supposed to shoot these fireballs from under his cape and his suit, but because you destroyed it, it suddenly materializes from under his armpits.
Dodge left and right. You may be right, but nonetheless, you're not going to get a sequel. Dodge out of the way, trying to return fire.
Roll move.
3.
It is a failure. The flames leave you completely covered in soot, but you can still manage to get a shot. Roll bash.
5.
Even though your bullets hit, the vampire is unharmed. The bullets bounced off his chest.
I'm gonna see if I can restrain this vampire. He's clearly quite a beefy boy. I want to see if I can jump ahead and try to grab hold of him and restrain him, and maybe that can open up an opening for you, Johnny.
It is an automatic success, but as soon as you do that, the vampire teleports with a laugh. And he's nowhere to be seen.
Dang it. I look to see if there's any chairs in the area. Break off a leg, make a stake.
You spot a couple of chairs. To do it is an automatic success.
Break off.
But suddenly, the vampire materializes just next to Tanu. Tanu, roll move.
4.
You barely manage to escape the vampire's grasp. The vampire seems to be dumbfounded at his failure. He's somewhat flabbergasted.
While he's recoiling, I try to chuck this chair leg at him.
Roll bash.
6.
It goes straight into him. And suddenly he looks downwards and he says, "Now I have to get rid of one of my hearts." And it pulls it away, throws it, and it transforms into this huge demonic creature. It seems to be like a stereotypical demon with horns, with purple skin, huge bat wings. And just below you, the ground starts to collapse. Only certain places of the ground are left floating. Both need to roll move immediately.
All right. 6.
I rolled a 2, but I'm gonna burn move and roll again. 3.
Tanu falls to his death. Now Johnny remains in a floating platform, and the vampire starts to create some sort of energy wave between its hands. It seems to be ready to shoot at you.
I need to do a lot of things here. Open my inventory menu, give me a few seconds to think. Do I want to revive Tanu? Well, if I revive Tanu right here, I'm just going to get both of us blasted. No, I need to build a shield first. Whip out the mechanics toolkit, build a shield in front of me.
This huge, massive purple wave with thousands of screaming faces upon it impacts your shield and you are safe automatically. Suddenly, Tanu is back. He appears on top of a platform. He is in ghost form. And now the creature once more begins to prepare some sort of energy wave.
All right. Toss my portable altar at Tanu to revive him. And yell, "Get behind the shield! It seems to be working."
All right, I'll do so. And I think I might have an idea as to how we can handle this. All right.
You both accomplish just that, and the wave once again impacts the shield, but the shield is now broken.
All right.
Once
All
again,
right.
the creature starts to form this energy wave.
All right, Johnny. I'm gonna see if I can ensnare this this bad boy here. I want to jump on my magic carpet, and I'm gonna try to deploy a trap. I'm gonna set up a point on one side of this wall and set up another point on this wall. Do you think you could distract him while I do that?
I'll try to shoot his hands with my rocket launcher.
All right.
It's an automatic success. The wave is disrupted. It explodes into the vampire's face, but it seems to be unharmed. In the meantime, Tanu accomplishes his plan. The vampire flies upwards. Now he is no longer standing on a platform and begins to create another wave.
All right. I'll try to keep shooting him, keep him distracted.
All
Roll
right.
dash.
And
6.
You accomplish it. The vampire is annoyed by the bullets that seem to be nuisances, but enough to disrupt his energy wave.
while flying around on my magic carpet, I decide to, in classic fighting game style, like to use my charge up in my super meter and try to shoot a massive energy blast towards the vampire and deal massive damage.
It seems to push him towards your setup trap. The vampire, as it starts to fly around carelessly, after reeling from the impact of your attack, it falls into your trap.
Crouch, trying to make sure the trajectory is right, and chuck an incendiary grenade straight at him.
It's an automatic success. And the creature starts to burn, but then all hell breaks loose. The entire section of the castle collapses completely. Now there are only a few platforms floating. Luckily enough, you are standing on one of those platforms. But there are also some other platforms that came out of nowhere with spikes on top of them and below them. And when it comes to Count Bloody Bad, it has now turned into this sort of chaotic aberration, an amalgamation of melted faces. There's even like a wolf face hanging from one side, tentacles, bat wings, a demon face at the center, some sort of tiger paw coming from one side, and it now seems to be charging at Johnny.
Oh, man. I've got nothing here. I'm going to try to jump to another platform. You try to think of something.
All right, let's
Roll
see.
move, Johnny.
6.
You avoid it just in time.
All right, Johnny, do you happen to have any of those rocket launcher RPG missiles left?
Let me look in my inventory. Look to see if I've got any from the last time I've used them or if they're still on cooldown.
Now the creature charges at Tanu.
All right, let's see, Johnny, if you can shoot a missile above our target, I'm going to try to grab hold and use that as leverage to try to fly over this monster, and then I'm going to turn into a giant heavy piece of stone using my stone mask and see if that can deal some damage.
Tanu, roll move first. You need to avoid this attack.
Sounds good enough. ready my rocket launcher.
4.
You accomplish that. You avoid. And now the creature splits into 2. And each part goes towards each one of you.
Man. I'm going to keep the plan going the same. I'm going to shoot the rocket at the one headed towards me.
It's an automatic success. And in this case, that section of the creature is destroyed completely. But the other one is quickly approaching Tanu.
All right. In typical fashion, I'm also going to once again channel my inner chi and create a nice energy ball and blast this force coming my way.
Roll bash.
4.
The aberration is destroyed. And suddenly the sun rises. Where there was only darkness, the sun rises, but unfortunately, all of the pieces of the castle start to fall down, with you on top of them. You are falling downwards and downwards until you land on some sort of structure. And you notice that Simondo Belmondo has just arrived in some sort of cross-shaped spaceship, like a cross-shaped spaceship. And he says, "Wow, man, you really did it. Both of you are amazing."
Thanks, man. Whew. It was exhausting, though. Oh, I've got that pork chop. Yeah. Start chowing down.
Well, that wasn't easy by any stretch of the imagination. Simon, we got some extra meat here. You want a pork chop, buddy? I don't mind sharing.
Thanks, man. I'll take it. As soon as Johnny eats that, all of his burned points are restored.
Whoa. Man. Nice.
And off the cross-shaped spaceship goes into the distance, while the castle, the entirety of the castle collapses in the distance. And now you see this ending credits screen. And you see so many images of Johnny and Tanu fighting in their respective games, living all sorts of adventures, this typical sepia type of screenshots. And there is this text saying, "You have saved the Avocado Kingdom, and you have saved the real world from the machinations of Count Bloody Bad. The real world and the video game world are now safe. You are now the heroes of the Avocado Kingdom." And the credits keep on rolling. And you see this shot of Johnny and Tanu and Elroy, who could not join you because he stayed back to protect the other sections of the kingdom from the forces of this nefarious Count Bloody Bad. And the game is over. A winner is you. You have won the game. Things were peaceful for a while, but then you learned of the developers coming up with this DLC pack of extra villains for the game. And so the adventure is over, or is it? And now we are out of character. You completed the Super Smash Bros. Campaign.
All right.
Well, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was actually a bit worried because yes, some attacks were quite lethal and you died compared to the other times. It's a very good idea of you purchasing that altar.
Mm.
I also really like the way that Alberto came up with these plans. I think both of you worked great. And considering, for those of you that are watching, because Ryan had this emergency at the last moment, I had to adjust the difficulty quite quickly, but they still, Alberto and Taylor did an amazing job. So what do you guys think about this entire campaign?
Trying to think. I mean, in general, it was great. It really felt the mechanics are so minimal that I think except for like one or two scenarios, it was just I say what I'm going to do, and I'm rolling one of four things, or it's an automatic success, and that's pretty much it. So it felt like really it was just there was a lot of room to get creative. There was a lot of room to think about to simultaneously think about the video gaminess, but not the tabletop gaminess, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I actually have that question. Did you feel like the video game theme was communicated appropriately, or do you think there could have been some improvements? Because I think this is the first time where I have run a exclusively video gamey campaign.
I think.
Well, one. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you.
go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
No,
John.
go
John.
ahead.
All right. Well, one thing that I can say right off the bat is that um, I think that the video gaming nature of it definitely kind of it's definitely something that I feel like I can work with, and something that I feel like I can pick up on particular video gamey tropes. I mean, throughout the campaign, there's all different types of tropes. Some of the things that I may not be as familiar with, but definitely some things that I am a little bit more familiar with, such as there was a Mega Man
Mhm.
trope in the second session, and we have the Castlevania tropes in this one,
Mhm.
and it's sort of in a way being familiar with these video games and how they work in universe can actually give you a bit of an edge in the campaign, which I thought was actually pretty nice. So you're
Mhm.
kind of rewarded for your pre-existing knowledge, which I thought was pretty cool.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think they were communicated really well. I think there were some nice twists on stuff. There was that they're communicated really well, but it was never so explicit that it was always being mixed up, right? It was like, what video games rules exactly are we following right now? Is there fall damage? Are we falling to our deaths right now? Is this just a level transition? And so yeah, that was I like that it wasn't. We didn't always know everything about it. It was kind of a just racing through my like, okay, do I use Castlevania logic here? Do I use Mega Man logic here? Do I?
I think that was one of my priorities, like the things that had me worried that I thought, well, I need to communicate things a bit simple in a bit simple way,
Mhm.
but at the same time, I don't want the players to be punished because things were not communicated appropriately.
Mhm.
So I really need to work with the players in order to take a look at their ideas and say, well, this makes sense with this. It is possible. Or if it's not possible, there is still a way to accomplish this or do it in some other way. I
Mhm.
think that was key in order to make these zany situations just work appropriately.
Especially because both of our characters are very much uh you can get into the in other tabletop RPGs you can get into the thing. I'm actually probably going to make a video on sometime soon on making martial characters useful in different ways so you don't fall into the I run up and hit the guy. I run up and hit the guy in every
Mhm.
scenario.
Yes, as you can see, you perfectly showcased that even though you were playing like this almost like a Rambo sort of character contra, you still had to use your creativity with the way that you were shooting, the way that you were using your RPG launcher, everything. It was not just like I'm just shooting and that's it. You were always thinking of ahead of where to shoot, who you were going to shoot, what you were going to accomplish. That was quite enjoyable. Now, when it comes to Tanu, Alberto, what do you think about? Was it difficult for you to come up with those Street Fighter type of powers according to the situations, or did you feel like it flowed quite smoothly?
I think that, relatively speaking, I'd say like 9 times out of 10, it was pretty smooth. I'm very familiar with the fighting game, essentially that sort of aspect of the gaming industry. I've played all sorts of different types of fighting games: Street Fighter, King of Fighters, Tekken, Super Smash Brothers, Soul Calibur, and some indie titles as well. So, there's a lot of concepts that I feel like I have a library of different types of moves and mechanics that through roleplay I can try to implement into the game session, which was always kind of a nice treat for me. However, I don't want to mirror the moves or the mechanics one to one, and I also
Mhm.
wanted to kind of either give them like not too much of a specific name, into which if someone is watching the role play or watching the session, that they can at least get an idea as to what's going on versus me naming off a move such as Hadouken or Shoryuken. And if they're not familiar with it, then they might not know what that is. So I might say, a fire energy ball or energy blast, and that's kind of more generic and
Mhm.
something that I think more people can grasp. And
Mhm.
one thing that I also wanted to say on top of the video gaming is really quick because it popped into my mind, and one thing that I really liked about this campaign or the 2 sessions that I was a part of out of 3 was that you tend to highlight, Abraham, the things of importance, especially of these boss characters. I really like that. That really, to me, that added the video gaminess that video games sort of have. To further illustrate this, let's say that you walk into a boss room and there's this giant monster, giant enemy, and it may show like a little bit like a cutscene of this like the dome on its head, and maybe that sort of suggests that that's at least a point of interest, and you can figure it on your own. That might be a weak spot. That might be something that either I can attack, or that can be a way to disarm or to distract them to hit another weak point if that's not one already. So that's one thing I really liked.
Yeah, it makes sense. I actually implemented it so that the Count Bloody Bad, the golden boots were actually his weak spot, because in Castlevania, you always hit the head of Dracula at first. But I decided I'm going to make the boots the weak spot instead. But when you did Johnny came up with the idea of the stake through the heart, I allowed that because that's quite like the staple of the vampire, fighting the vampire genre sort of thing. So I allowed that attack. Now, when it comes to the flow of the campaign, you also felt like things were, well, kind of like it has certain sense to it, because I felt sometimes like, oh, it feels a bit too disconnected. That is despite the differences between the levels. Did you feel like it made a bit of sense?
Yeah, I think especially given that it's framed in being sort of janky development. So it reminded me of all of those games you play where it's like I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, but I'm sure
I can
you've
think
all
of one, the video game nerd the video game, because I don't know if you have played it. It's like a combination of video game tropes.
But you play a game and it's like you go from one level to the next, and it's like, what? That level was just over. It's the next one. And it's like, oh, they didn't really have time to finish the do as much as they wanted to here. Like Metal Gear Solid 5, where just all of a sudden you're popped into like a 10-minute long cutscene out of nowhere, and it's just kind of like, what is going on here? So yeah, it made me think of those where it's like, oh yeah, they didn't have the budget. The budget constraints were really cracking down on this.
One thing that I liked was that it did, again, adding to the video gaminess, the feel of it. It kind of felt like whenever you can play any video game, you have like a general like theme towards the level. It felt the levels felt like levels. So in the second session, when the train fell off the train tracks and there was a bunch of water everywhere, to me that was like, oh, this is the water level. And in this session, we're in the cemetery, or with all these tombstones everywhere.
Yeah.
With this castle, it's like, oh, this is sort of the spooky level. This is the graveyard, the cemetery level. This is the creepy castle level.
And it helped the like arcadey actionness to not I think maybe in like in some scenarios it's nice to give like a ton of detail and describe the mist rolling in and the like crows, but it's an arcade game. You just sort of fill in the details of like, maybe there's a purple cobblestone parallax background, but you don't need to spend time describing that. We're going to be here for 2 seconds and shoot some stuff and then move on to the next scene. So your brain just fills in the details that aren't mentioned.
Yes. Well, thank you again for playing, both of you. You were amazing players, and I'm glad we managed to showcase all of that. I think that together we also gave an example that you can have a roleplay session with almost lots of combat all the time. Because some people think that if you have combat, you cannot roleplay. Now, I know that perhaps Shoner is watching this. You have said this, Shoner, that if you have combat, you cannot roleplay. This campaign is like 80% combat. And they are all describing their actions and all of it. So I think that was a great example. By the way, Alberto, I don't know if you have seen it, but I am going to be running a horror one-shot. I think you said that you were not very, how do you say, like horror was not your thing. But if you are up for it, maybe you want to take a look at that video.
Yeah. I mean, traditionally, like in a sense, like, I'm not a huge horror guy. Like I haven't really gone out of my way to watch a lot of horror movies. However, after these role-playing gaming sessions, I think I'd be open-minded to it. I mean, obviously it's just a game, so it is what it is. And I mean, I did watch that video announcement that you made and that we would be role playing as ourselves.
Mhm.
And I felt like in this session, yes, I was role playing as a sort of Street Fighter esque martial artist, but in a way, I was also still thinking in the mindset and doing things that I may have done as that martial artist, like
Mhm.
that them being me and me being them.
Mhm.
So the idea of kind of just role playing as myself, that sounds, quite immersive, even though it's in a horror setting,
Mhm.
because, well, I can just kind of focus on what would I do and not
Mhm.
try to, because again, I'm kind of new to the whole
Mhm.
tabletop role playing game whole thing. This is my fourth session and ever. So instead of just trying to focus and pretending and role playing as, let's say, a barbarian or as a paladin and another tabletop role playing game and trying to get myself into that mindset that seems
Mhm.
foreign to me, this could be a lot easier to get into. So I'd be open
Yeah.
minded to it.
Okay, well, think it over, and if you want to, just let me know in the comments of that video and tell me, oh, I can play it at this hour, these days, because Tyler is going to participate. Josh from the Dark and Terrible campaign is also going to participate. Perhaps we are going to get Big Bad RPG. He's still thinking
That'd be
about it.
awesome.
He seems to be like almost 90% yes, but he still has to make up his mind. But yes, I hope we can get 5 players, because I feel like it's going to feel like when you go into a haunted house as a group, it's going to be like that. So I think it's going to be, despite it being horror, it's going to be lots of fun, in my opinion. Well, once again, thank you, and thank you to those of you watching at home. Thank you for watching this conclusion of the Super Smash Bros. Campaign. If you have any comments or questions, please let us know in the comments section. As always, if you wish to further support the channel, the information on how to do that is going to be in the description below. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you, and I'm going to stop the recording right now.